Hello, fellow readers. I'm back again with another book review. This one is The Princess Swap, which is a middle grade series about retellings of Disney princesses, but with each other's stories instead of their own. And the first book I read and finished is Cinderella and the Beast, or the other title, Beauty and the Glass Slipper. Basically, the main premise is, of course, Cinderella and Belle, or Ella in this book, she's called Ella the entire book, getting basically put into each other's like situations and having to figure out how to get out of it in their own ways through their own creativity and ingenuity. So Ella gets trapped in the Beast Castle and has to fix the curse. Well, whereas Belle is now stuck in the cellar and working for the evil stepmother. I like this book very much. I think I liked Belle a little bit more than Ella because it's for a book that has a focus on two characters. I preferred Belle as a character because she was always just willing to go out of her way to do anything and everything to get out of it. Plus the fact that Belle in the story, her and her father are running a trading company of magical goods. So she has like all of this knowledge of magic, which since both Cinderella and Belle's stories have heavy ties to magical things happening or curses, it was actually very useful to have a protagonist that was well versed in all magical items of every kind. So when Belle got stuck in the cellar, like she was figuring things out very quickly and was looking for more magical items to help her and get out of it. Plus, there is also a for her side of the story, she also gets, because you would think, like, since Belle isn't tied to the family and all of that, that she would leave the family behind the minute she did. How they kept her there story wise is that so she has this locket from her deceased mother that is the only thing she has left of her mother, and so the evil stepmother takes the necklace and basically forces not Ella, but Belle to work for her as a servant so that she could get back the necklace. Of course, Belle tries multiple times to get the necklace back, but the last one happened to be in front of like the queen of the kingdom of Miravillian or something close to that, which is the kingdom we're set in, and she gets caught by all these people, and Simone, the evil stepmother, drags her away and uses a magical item called the Manacle of Obedience to basically keep Belle even longer, which then leads into a whole other um side story of not really side story, but of her trying to get the manacle removed, because the only way to get it removed is if somebody else takes it off, or if and like or if there's like some kind of loophole of the user put giving that put the manacle on, there is a loophole to get it off. So she does that by going, hey, like, what about this and this, and basically creating loopholes, which one of them was kissing a prince, because before Belle arrives, Ella and the prince of the kingdom were childhood friends, and so he visits often to the household anyway, which gives Belle a chance to meet the basically prince. Is it Prince Charming for this one? I'm not sure what prince he was. I always get the princes mixed up because I always feel copy and paste in the original Disney films. There wasn't much going on with them usually. But she basically meets Amir, the prince, And she kind of like, when she gets the manacle on, she's like, so what, like, what if a prince kisses me? Like, yeah, remove it. And then Simone is like, yeah, I mean, if that ever does happen, yeah, sure, whatever. So Belle basically is now tasked with trying to get this prince to love her and fall in love with her and give her a kiss so that she could remove the manacle. Of course, that doesn't actually happen anytime in the book. The only kiss that actually ever happens in the book is at the last chapter where Amir kisses Belle's hand because they do fall in love with each other. But like they have mutual crushes and kind of are in love with each other, but they just don't ever kiss. And the manacle gets removed actually another way, which is actually really sweet because I know that like it reminded me of the so like Cinderella 2 and 3 and all that, with one of the stepsisters actually kind of being revealed to like not be that bad of a person and just kind of doing what her mother tells her because of that. So in this story they kind of do a similar thing with one of the stepsisters named Marie here, going, I notice things and like I get like I understand all this, and removes the manacle for Belle. So that's really nice to have that touch. It's also really funny to think about. So with the talking animals, the good stepsister, like Marie, also can talk to animals, which is really weird because you would think Cinderella, like Ella, would get it because she, like, that's one of the big things about princesses is that they kind of have the ability to talk. I mean, Belle didn't really talk to animals, but Cinderella in the Disney films and stuff did talk to animals. Like she talked to Gus Gus and all that. Like she could understand them, but Cinderella didn't talk to any animals, at least not magical animals, like non-magical animals, because when she gets to the Beast Castle, Ella does meet a toy like mouse that can talk and express and loves eating cheese. I forgot what his name was. I just finished the book and I forgot the name. He's this very little charming little character. Um but he Stanley. Yes, Stanley. So Stanley is this mouse and the only mouse, and he basically acts as the Cogsworth of the enchanted castle for the beast, because we don't have like they're inanimate objects that are alive, but there's only two of note in this book, which is citrine, I think you pronounce it, um and then Stanley, who is a felt mouse, and the other is a bird. Point is, they both kind of like they're the only inanimate objects that are of note in this story, compared to like the large cast that we saw in the movie, with all of the like everything was enchanted and a person from the castle becoming an object. Instead it was objects that became living creatures and could interact with their biome, like their area and stuff. One of the other biggest changes for this retelling, because retellings are very popular and there's a lot of different, like you could go anywhere really and read and like find a retelling of a Disney princess story, and so it's kind of hard to like I can definitely see how it's hard to retell a tale that's been retold a million times. In this retelling, though, one of the biggest changes, other than the swap, is that the beast is a girl. And it is heavily tied to, like, basically the events of the book are all tied to Ella more than Belle. Like, Belle just is mainly just caught in the moment, really, more than anything else. Which kind of also, like it's like Ella is definitely the focus of this story. So we also, that's another basically gender swap, is that, so when we finally learned of the the godparent fairy, Ella's godparent is a godfather who changes his name, but I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me, so I will not try. And you learn that the reason why everything basically happened in this novel near the end of the story, right, is that Ella was so, because her dad dies and she's like really sad, and it turns into anger because it's easier to blame somebody than um to deal with the fact that just a bunch of bad things happened. And she's like, I think she mentioned she was like 8 when it happened. She basically blames the princess of her kingdom, which is Amir's, the prince's young, like, either younger or older sister, but sister, because she apparently was a very rotten princess and would like be really aggressive with people, and got her father, got Ella's father fired from his job in the castle, which led to Ella's father taking a job elsewhere that got him sick, and then he died of a sickness that he had immunity to. Um, what happened was that, so Ella turned all that aggression and blamed Anissa, the princess, and the godfather basically went, "Oh, okay, you want her to feel," because like Ella basically goes, "I want her to feel all of the pain and suffering that I felt um after losing my father, and the loneliness and all that, and I want her to feel it because I want to blame her for this." And the godfather goes, "All right," and curses another little girl. And he even mentions to Ella at this point, like, it was like, well, she didn't also want to be there anymore as a princess. So, I mean, it was a win win for everyone. Which led to Nessa, the nickname for Anissa, to live in this enchanted, cursed castle and be a beast. And then the Godfather is also like, yeah, but also another reason why people really couldn't find it, and fairies like couldn't even find the castle and stuff, was because he didn't want somebody interrupting his work. I was like, okay. And then he also mentions to Ella a bunch of like other things that her wishing for things. He kind of, like, there's a part in the story where a bunch of birds start attacking Nessa, and while Ella comes in to save her, the birds attack her and Nessa before leaving. The Godfather reveals that, oh yeah, I also sent the birds to attack her because you wanted her to, like, you wanted her attacked, you wanted her to suffer, so I granted the wish. And you confused the birds when you tried to rescue her. And I was like, why would you do that? Why? Because not only did she curse a little girl, and then also like make the curse because another little girl was upset and like really, like, you would the point is that I didn't really like the Godfather because he kind of just showed up whenever he wanted to, and then basically blamed Ella for everything, even though he's the one that casts the spells, when when these children were clearly more, like, these children needed more support and than anything else. And instead he's like, yeah, I'm gonna curse another little girl because you're upset, and then I'm gonna blame you for it because I mean I was just doing what you wanted. Which, by the way, the Godfather like, Ella didn't even know she had one. So when the fairy does show up, she's like, I'm sorry, I had one. I don't like you either, because what do you mean? I was living in a cellar with my stepfamily treating me badly, and you just now suddenly show up and want to help me. Oh, you also did a bunch of things for me, but I didn't know about. Why would you do that? Point is, I didn't like The Godfather because it was like, I stated this and it feels like I'm talking in circles, but really, like, these very young children, because I think they're 12 in the point of the story because it's a middle grade book. Um, but like they're very young children, and a lot of the times people that young, especially when you lose somebody that important to you, you're not going to be thinking straight. Why would you grant a curse? And then just like it was very weird and very just why would you do that, and then why would you basically tell them that it was their fault that this all happened because they were just doing what was asked of you. Point is, didn't like that. uh, he also kind of ditched on Belle too, because like he shows up in the cellar to help, to originally help Ella, but only finds Belle and then ditches Belle when Belle clearly needs help too. And, and it's like, okay, so you just like really don't. Okay, that's great. Um, but I do like how the stories intertwined near the end because the stories overlapped a lot to basically to explain why these two like why Belle and Ella meet and why and how to get them back. The stories really did need to intertwine with each other, like the fact that the beast was the sister of the prince, and the fact that they're all set in the same kingdom besides that. And then there's also um other like another big plot for Belle is the Revel of Magic or something. It's like this contest that is held every couple of years, and it's basically a bunch of people come and do these really difficult challenges to basically get a wish from the king and queen of the Miravillion, and if like as long as it's within their power. And Belle cast us. So what? How the switch originally happened was Ella wanted adventure and wanted to not be in the cellar, and then Belle used like this pirate spyglass pirate magic thing that was supposed to send her closer to the capital so that she could join the rebel. And those spells kind of clashed and got them both like it basically caused the switch because of that. And I completely forgot what I was saying. But yeah, so they that's how the switch happened. And so Belle is like stuck in in yeah, the switch. I what? I completely forgot what I was talking about. I mean, other than the book, I forgot where I was going with this. Um, but yeah. Oh, the revel. Yes, yes, yes. Um, so the revel is what Belle is like gaining for because her family's thing is going under like they need money and they need ships and they need all that, and that's what Belle's really going for to help her father recover his shipping business of magical goods. Um, this ties in to Belle to Cinderella's story and all that because Belle's story, like the beast being hunted by a bunch of hunters before the fix of the curse, ties in with the revel because a bunch of people with all these men coming together, and Belle in the challenge. Originally it was to hunt down like a goblin king, but Belle knows a lot about magical creatures and is kind of like, wait, why would we hunt down like a goblin king? That would get everyone killed. We should do something else. Like why would they choose that? And then another hunter who had tried to help like they had been chasing down Ella because Ella leaves the castle to try and get some stuff and come back to the cursed castle. And what happens is that those hunters, basically one of the hunters finds the castle, and the big curse about it is that as long as you have seen it but like found it before, you can find it again. That's how the like shielding of the castle works. So this guy, he knows it's Maximus. um I think that's the so he knows where the castle is, and he's like, okay, so what if instead of the Goblin King, we kill the beast of the forest, this threat to the kingdom? And everyone's like, and like everyone's trying to stop it because it's like, wait, it's forbidden, and like the king and queen have forbidden it and all this. And he's like, well, yeah, but we're gonna be like really famous, we're gonna be heroes, money, fame, well, like all this other stuff if we bring the head of this beast and finally free the forest of this beast. And which kickstarts the hunt for the beast. And that leads into the fixing of the curse and all that. And I like that detail of how it ties together. Um there is another nitpick that I had with the book, and it was mainly on Belle's end more than anything. It was mainly because Belle, I this is just a pet peeve of mine, of my own pet peeve when it comes to reading about characters, is that I don't like when a character refers to their parent by their given name, because as far as I know, it's not a very common thing for for me to hear, because like usually that the kid, like a kid refers to their parent as like father or mom or whatever, like, you know, like the parental title. I don't like that Belle refers to her father by name every time she thinks of him. She like constantly she's going, yeah, my dad, Henrik. Oh, Henrik. Henrik. Like it's like, I why would you call your dad that? Because you it doesn't make the character feel close to her father that she's doing this all for, by the way. And it also is just a pet peeve of mine because it's like, if these characters are supposed to be close, I don't need to be told the characters, like the parent's name, unless you're trying to tell me that this the parent is like somebody famous, that the kid is trying to like is telling somebody else that their parent is famous, and so they have to refer to their parent by name. Other than that, I feel like you should still just stick with the like father or mother or anything like that instead, because it's kind of annoying and it doesn't read well when you're trying to show that they care for their family. And it's like, why is this, like, why is Belle calling her dad Henrik? Because even in the Disney movie, Belle says, I think she refers to Maurice as Papa. And it's like, like you could tell that this was a close relationship because we didn't really know that, like as far as I remember, I didn't really remember the father's name other than Papa and stuff. And I remember, and the only reason why I remembered the guy's real name was because they called him Crazy Old Maurice. But the point is that Belle didn't even, like in the original Disney film, she didn't refer to her father by name. She referred to her father as a father, and it just it reading it's annoying and just didn't settle right with me. And it's just, I think it's like, it's something that I don't like personally, especially. But like that's the biggest nitpick I think I had with the novel, because I just didn't want to deal with the, you know, like I didn't like that, and I think that was the only thing I really didn't like otherwise. Um, but overall, I think the story did a really good job of swapping the characters and also intertwining the different elements of each other's story and making like figuring out how to get the characters back to their original lives while also giving them a happy ending. I think they did a good job on that too. And overall, I really liked it. I'm gonna definitely read the other books in the series too. So, yeah. Bye bye.